Hello, boys and girls. How are you today? We are excited about doing our next experiment, and this one is all about gardening. And I thought about a little title that might work for us. It's called Gardening Soup for the Child. So that means when you make soup, you got all these different veggies in it, don't you? So I think that title will work real good for all of us. When we talk about growing veggies, we know we got to start with the seed, and then we go from the seed to the actual plant, and then to the fruit, and then harvest, and then, of course, eating, eating, eating. As we talk about a seed, we want to consider that a seed has to go through a process in order to develop and grow into a plant. And in doing that, you got to know the parts of a seed. That would be most important, I think. So let's look at this chart. I have a chart of a big seed here. And as you can see, this would represent the outer covering of the seed. So all around, we call that the coat. And then inside, we have all the goodies, all the food that takes place in order for the seed to develop into a plant. And these leaves, most times, are in the embryo that's located right here. And this embryo is the part that is used to show the leaf growth. And as the leaf gets much water and air and sunlight, and then the leaves just sprout right out of this embryo. And wow, the next thing we know, we have a plant. So let's talk about this word germination. 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 Now, when you think of it, it's like bursting. The seed burst open. And when it burst open, all that embryo that we talked about right here has received a lot of water. So all the inside of the seed then is filled with water. So remember now, germination is the process that the seed does go through in order to develop into a plant. Now you have some seeds with you. I think you have some lima bean seeds, some tomato seeds, some kale seeds, some spinach seeds, and some peas. I'm thinking you do. So take those out. And yours are in a little paper bag, maybe like so. Or they just may be in another kind of container. It won't matter, but just take them out. And you also have with you a magnifying glass. And this makes things look a little bigger. That's all it does. So once you have your seeds, what I want you to do is take your magnifying glass and your seeds. And let's take these one at a time. And we'll talk about them, all right? So let's start with the lima bean. That'll work. Let's start with the lima bean. And we're going to use the lima bean in our magnifying glass and examine it real carefully. And you see the lima bean is much bigger than most of the other seeds. So you can really put one in your hand. And when you do, you can just look at it real carefully. Now see if you can see a little opening to the side of your lima bean seed. And that's where the embryo is located. Now, all these seeds germinate if they have the right conditions to germinate. So what we're going to do is make a chart. And this chart, we're going to record the germination time. So if you have a piece of paper, let's see if you can make a chart. Alrighty. And I've made my chart. Let's see if you've made yours. And mine looks like so. And what I've done at the top is put the name of each seed that we have. Kale, spinach, peas, lima beans, and tomatoes. Right? Now what we're going to do is draw a line horizontally, and we're going to put the germination time. So right under kale, germination. Remember how we spell that word? Germination. Now, let's see if we can figure out how much time it takes for these seeds all to germinate. Okay, let's see. I wrote these down, you see. So I can make sure I have it just right for you. The lima beans take just about 7 days. So on our chart under lima bean, we're going to put germination, write the word, and then put 7 days. Okay? Next, we're going to look at peas. The peas take 7 to 14 days. So we'll write that. 7 to 14 days. And next, we're going to have the spinach. Spinach. Now, if it's really cool, it's going to take about 3 weeks. But as the weather has changed now, those spinach seeds will germinate in 7 to 14 days. Now let's look at the kale. It does the same thing, 7 to 14 days for germination. And tomatoes, let's see, a tomato will take 5 to 10 days. 5 to 10 days. Now, I guess you're really excited now about, well, what will we do with these seeds? Yes, what will we do with these seeds? We are going to plant these seeds, okay? And in order to do that, you're going to have some dirt, a container, and of course your seed, and some water. And I think you can do that, don't you? All right, now I have some styrofoam cups. I don't know how your cups are. I don't know what kind of cups you have, but whatever kind of cups you have, they will be paper cups, hopefully. And what we're going to do is to take our pencil and our cup, and if it's styrofoam, it'll be real easy. We'll just take the cup, insert the cup, invert the cup, look at the bottom of the cup, and we're going to put a hole right in the bottom. Okay, put a hole in the bottom of your cup. And I did 5 cups, you see, because we have how many seeds, different kinds of seeds? We have 5 kinds of seeds, don't we? Okay. Now, I've gone ahead and put my dirt in my cup. So you see I've added my dirt to my cup. And oftentimes you got to figure out, well, how much do I need to put in the cup? So if you can look at the top of my cup, you can see it's almost full. Not quite, but almost full. Let's see. All right. Now, if you look at your finger, and we're going to look about 1 inch to a ½ inch in depth. So you're going to stick your finger in the dirt, right in the middle of the dirt, and make a hole, and put your finger all the way halfway of this bending part of your finger, okay? And once that's done, you can place your seed in that hole and cover it lightly. Now, the next thing we got to do, remember I told you seeds don't do anything in germination unless you put some water. So importantly, we're going to have to add some water to our cup. And when you add the water to the cup, you're going to make sure that the cup is sitting on a paper plate or something that can hold water, because when you pour water into the cup, the water is going to drain all the way through and will come out on the bottom. So I'm going to let you get to that, and I want you to plant your seeds, each of those in a cup. Now, once you've done that, you can either write on write on your cup. I can write on mine. I can write lima bean. Okay. I can write lima bean. And on the other cups, you can, of course, put the names on those as well to identify your seeds. It's always good to identify. Now, let's go back. Remember, I gave you some days for germination for the seeds. So it's going to be very important that you put the current date. Like today's date is April 13. So you're going to make sure you write that on your cup. Put the date that you put the seed in the soil, and of course the name of the seed that's in the soil. And questions. That's where we're going to talk a bit about those things that you're curious about, okay? Now, number one question. What is seed germination? Question number two. What are the parts of a seed? And as you collect your observations daily, you can tell me what happens when a seed grows. And you can do that, I think, without too much difficulty. And then as we come back on our next visit, you will have a lima bean plant, a tomato plant, some spinach plants, and some kale plants. Looking forward, because you know we're going to make our soup with tomatoes, lima beans, peas, spinach, and kale. Okay, I'm Cheryl Austin with you again this time.